Yes, sir. It's the FCS Checkdown live on YouTube. So if you want to jump in and say hello, I hope you do. Nathan McCurry, Coach Ron Jackson. I need to be framed up here. Whew. Coach, what a weekend of football we've had.
Man, sure enough.
We're talking about some of the FCS stuff, some of the NFL stuff. It's all been kind of crazy. What'd you do this weekend?
You know, I didn't go down to West Georgia. I ended up going to the Middle Tennessee State football game.
Yeah, you mentioned that may be an option.
Yeah, Dr. McPhee had me and my wife up in his presidential suite. So yeah, we got to enjoy it from a whole different perspective. Bad thing is the game was rain delayed for about an hour and a half.
Brutal.
Yeah, so yeah, it was brutal. Now the food was good, the company was good, but it was too long. We left about 9:30.
Oh boy, who they play?
Yeah. Marshall.
Yeah, who won? Those are two not very good football teams, probably.
Yeah, well, Marshall's. I think there's maybe a Sun Belt team. I know MTSU is a Conference USA team, and Marshall pulled away at the very end. I mean, the weather delay happened about as soon as the game started.
Yeah.
So the game started at 6 o'clock. I think we were in weather delay till about 8:15.
Oh, so you guys really didn't see much.
Yeah, ain't no telling. I mean, I know Marshall won maybe 48, 42, 28 or something like that. Scored a lot of points in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Yeah, MTSU's a struggling program. Unfortunately, they're the first football team I took to the national championship in the college football video game back when I was back in the day. The Blue Raiders. Well, listen, to FCS football, we had some great games. We had some big upsets. We had some surprises. We'll talk about that. Matter of fact, what I want to do is, Coach, I'm going to bring up the scoreboard in our little thing, and we'll go down the scoreboard and let you look here, and we'll kind of talk about what we see. Let me see how I got to get here. Okay. No surprise with Southeast Louisiana and LSU, 56-10 drubbing. Virginia Tech obviously fired their head coach, Brett Pry, and are on the lookout for a new head coach. It probably will not be the Wofford head coach, but 38-6 is the score there. South Carolina State got their drubbing by South Florida. Then you kind of get into the FCS, 46-0 Brown over Georgetown. San Diego knocks off Princeton. That's a little bit of a surprise. San Diego knocking off Princeton's score, 42-35. Lots of points scored. Coach, this is a 21-0 game for Princeton in the first quarter. And then San Diego returned the favor with 21 points in the second quarter, as you see there. And then it was San Diego putting up 21 in the fourth. That's a heck of a way to win a game for San Diego.
Whatever halftime adjustments they made must have worked, because they scored 21 points in the second half, and Princeton got shut out.
Yep, absolutely. But the game we're going to stop and talk about is going to be this Holy Cross and Yale game. Let me see. I got this recap slide up here. We're going to publish this. There you go. Yale dominated Holy Cross, convincing 28-10 win at the Yale Bowl. It was a beautiful Saturday afternoon in New Haven, Connecticut. The Bulldogs controlled the game from the start, scoring in the opening quarter and never relinquishing the lead. Josh Pitzenberger dominated with 3 rushing touchdowns, 127 yards on 26 carries. Dante Reno, effective passing, 166 yards and a touchdown. He was 13 of 18. His favorite target was Nico Brown, 5 receptions, 119 yards and a touchdowns. For Holy Cross, Cal Swanson, 15 for 30, 193 yards and a touchdown. Not enough. It was Yale dominating Holy Cross, and I think the biggest, I guess, shocker to this, Coach, is you've got Holy Cross now sitting at 0-4. I mean, that's a big deal.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I'm not sure what's really going on at Holy Cross, because again, they're one of the better teams. They've got plenty that come back from last season, but they've certainly got off to a slow start this year. Now, nothing against Yale and Asaze Danian. He's a safety for Yale, and good player within his own rights. But I don't know. I'm a little disappointed in Holy Cross right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're the only one. Let's go ahead and go through Morgan State.
Hold up.
Okay.
Yeah. My father-in-law, God rest his soul, was a graduate of Central State, and I know they got the stuffings beat out of them, but I can't let the Marauders go by without at least acknowledging Central State.
All right, Central State 0-4 on the season. They fall to Morgan State respectively, 27-0. Not much of a ball game there. I'm not so sure Central State has scored a point this year, but hey. It was a Morgan State picking up their first win of the 2025 season. Central Michigan's knocked off Wagner 49-10. We're going to stop Villanova and Monmouth. Coach, this was the game a lot of people were really looking forward to as this Saturday kicked off. And, I think that it's a ranked matchup. A lot of people were wondering what this game might look like. Well, 51 points put up by Monmouth, 51-33 there in West Long Branch, Coach. This was a high-scoring affair there at Kessler Stadium, and it was Derek Robertson, once again, exceptional day passing, 397 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was 20 of 30 passing. Josh Derry had 8 receptions, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including a 75-yard score. Rodney Nelson dominated the ground with 186 yards and 2 touchdowns on 33 carries. And then Makai Green was the long ball threat, 72-yard touchdown. For Villanova, Pat McQuaid passed for 330 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was 25 of 43. David Abbott scored 3 rushing touchdowns on 135 yards on 18 carries. This is one of those, Coach, where you go, okay, Villanova's numbers look pretty good until you look at Monmouth's numbers, and Monmouth dominated. You put up 51 points. We kind of talked about this with NAU in Southern Utah last week. You put up 35 points, you're probably pretty happy about that, unless you give up 51. And then there you go.
We said that in the show the other day that it was going to be Villanova's defense versus Monmouth's offense.
Right.
Monmouth just put themselves squarely on the map. I expect them to move up drastically in the top 25 rankings. And as much as I was looking forward to it, quite honestly, Nathan, it was over really before it got started. Monmouth got out to a big lead. Most of the
17-0, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the points that Villanova scored in the second half was really kind of mop-up duty. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. Monmouth, we kind of talked about the experience of Kevin Callahan there for Monmouth. I didn't see that 51 points being put up on Villanova.
Yeah,
they're going to have to figure something out defensively.
Yeah, Monmouth's going to have to figure out something else defensively too. I mean, I understand them putting up 50 points, but you're not gonna, you're not gonna be able to outscore everybody.
No problem with that comment at all. You got to figure something out. Definitely. All right, moving on to the next game. It's New Hampshire falling to Dartmouth. We talked about the Dartmouth team. They're going to come in hot and healthy. They went 8-2 last year. They lost a ton, but they were returning their quarterback, and that was a huge aspect of their program. It was a 10-0 deficit for Dartmouth that they had to overcome to defeat New Hampshire. So even then, at Buddy Teven Stadium, Dartmouth had to come back. DJ Crowther dominated with 146 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns on the ground for him. And then Grayson Saunier, who is that returning quarterback, efficient day, 244 yards passing. He had a rushing touchdown as well. Grayson Obara led all receivers with 6 catches and 106 yards. You know what? This is a good win to start Dartmouth's season off. New Hampshire, you see, ranked number 25, obviously going to fall out of the top 25, Coach. But although you might not have saw this coming because Ivy League it's kind of a crapshoot, right? You never know. We've seen Dartmouth over the last couple of years really building a solid program, and they come out, get a ranked win in week 1 for the Ivy League. Good on them.
You know, I mentioned my father-in-law a minute ago, and one of the things he used to say is the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but to the one that endures to the end.
Oh, I
So
love it.
maybe the Ivy League, by letting everybody get out to a 3-week start before they even start their season, there might be something to that. That's a great win for Dartmouth,
It
and
is.
one I didn't see coming either.
You know,
But you know,
I almost, and I'm not to pat myself on the back. We'll talk about picks, but I kind of was like, gosh, New Hampshire has those, that bottom tier, the top 25. I think anything can happen, and with Dartmouth coming in, but they lost so much on defense. I think they were replacing 40 something players, and I mean, so yeah, interesting win. But to your point, a good win for Dartmouth. I'll let you finish that thought there.
well, I mean, I was just going to say it's a good win for Dartmouth. It's a good pick by our guest Brandon. He's the one that came on. He believed before I did, so I sent him a little note on Twitter that, man, I owe you an apology. You got your stuff together, my brother.
Did he say Dartmouth was gonna beat New Hampshire?
Well, he didn't say Dartmouth was going to beat New Hampshire, but he did say that Dartmouth had a good logo. And
Oh,
talked
that's right. The
positively.
best helmets of the. That's right.
Right, talked very positively. And you know what? I'm going to call him. He's got another prediction on North Alabama and Illinois State that he was right on target.
Well, here it is. 38-36, a double overtime victory for Illinois State. This was a big-time show-up for North Alabama. Unfortunately, they do fall. It was a back-and-forth battle for Illinois State and North Alabama there at Hancock Stadium. By the way, 12,000 fans got a chance to see this one. Very, very cool. Tommy Rittenhouse completed 20 of 36 passes, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. He added 89 yards rushing. Daniel Sapkowitz had the game-changing performance of the day, 10 receptions, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had the game winner as well. Winkers Wright, their running back, rushed for 79 yards and a 38-yard touchdown. He had 15 carries on the afternoon. For North Alabama, Ari Patua passed for 243 yards and 4 touchdowns. He did have an interception, however, turned the ball over. That obviously was key. Justin Pagis caught 7 passes, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the final score in double overtime. And KJ Fields, 7 receptions, 94 yards. He had the game-tying touchdown. So gutsy performance there by North Alabama. They fall short. I'm really happy for Brent Dearman and that crew over there. We've kind of rung the bell on North Alabama. Like, they've got great fans, they've got great facilities, they're growing, and man, you're waiting for them to put it together. Although in a loss, this is a good performance against a very, very good Illinois State team.
Yeah, it's a loss that gives you signs that things are in the right direction. I like Coach Dearman. His kids play hard.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a tough trip to Normal, Illinois, from Florence, Alabama, and I'm sure it was. I know it was a long trip. And then you get there, you got 12,000 screaming fans on top of you, and you're playing the number 6 team in the nation. Best I remember, they got down kind of early in the ball game, and I'm sitting there thinking, boy, they're about to get mollywopped, just like I said that they were. And that's when Brandon, his predictions come right in, and they walk them down, and they play them great and play them tough to the wire. So, I don't mean to give a lot of love for a team that didn't win a ball game, but that this was the game of the day, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, and it was a 17-7 game at halftime, and I'm thinking, okay, Illinois State's about to pull away. I just haven't seen anything from North Alabama. Not so fast. They came out, scored, and then put up some big points there in the fourth quarter to tie that game, and then went into double overtime. Good. I'm just really happy for North Alabama fans who got a chance to feel like they were competitive against a really high-ranked team, and a team that, honestly, that top 10, you can probably maybe even go top 5 are a step above everybody else.
Yeah,
it's a good competition there for North Alabama.
Yeah, it's good game.
Yeah, and a loss. Okay, let's bring the screenshot thingy up here. Delaware State 39-10 over St. Francis Presbyterian. 4-0. They beat Bluefield, the NAIA program, 76-3.
Receiving votes.
They do what?
They'll be receiving votes.
Yeah, they are already. Some people have them in their top 25, but
Yeah, what I'm saying is they won and they'll still be receiving
They're still going to
votes.
be receiving, but that's not going to do anything. Yeah, that's not going to do anything about it. Let's see. Harvard and Stetson, no problem with Stetson, the Hatters there, 59-7, 28 points to start the first quarter for Harvard. They came out like a freaking cannon shot. 28 points, 17 in the second. It was, what is that, 35-0 at half, 45-0 at halftime. Ugh, what a
Dude,
terrible
let me
game.
tell you. I'll tell you this. You might want to get Stetson now. Mike Jasper, who's their first-year head coach, former Buffalo Bill, believe he coached at Bethel in Tennessee. He'll get that program going in the right direction. Just give him a little time.
Well, and it's a non-scholarship program, and my fear is the way the landscape of Division I is, there's not going to be room for Stetson-type programs.
Yeah.
Jacksonville was one of those. University of Jacksonville was one of those programs, had a non-scholarship program, and it just was too expensive. They just couldn't do it. I worry about Stetson being that way. I think they may have already shut their program down once before and then restarted it or something. I can't recall.
I believe they have. I think at one time Stetson was a scholarship program.
I think you're right, actually. I think you're right. Yeah,
and I think they've shut down. But I do believe they are headed back in the other direction. So I kind of expect them to grow. I wish they bring scholarships back, and I wish they join a scholarship conference.
They could do like St. Francis dropping to D3, and all their stuff. So anyway, Fordham loses to Colgate. Colgate's a pretty good football team, by the way. They had a great recruiting off season, so look for them to be competitive. We've already seen them be competitive in this season. They pick up their first win, 44-21 over Fordham, and then you got Penn picking up the win over Stonehill, 24-21. That was a close one. Stonehill came back in the fourth quarter and made it a game. New Haven, the Chargers, picked up a win against Saginaw Valley State. You got any tidbits about Saginaw Valley State, Coach, with all your infinite wisdom?
Well, a good friend of mine, Isaiah Dunning, used to be the defensive line coach there, and he's now at Buffalo.
Hey, all right.
So he left them in decent shape, from what I remember. Saginaw's got it's an interesting program, but literally they're not going to compete with any of the FCS teams. So,
well. I mean, New Haven, obviously a Division II, making the transition, 35-28 it was a ball game, and they have a good logo. We've kind of been made fun of UIW's cardinal. That looks like a cardinal in there. They did cut his head off, but it's fine. It is what it is. Drake. All right, I'm in the mud. Okay. I'm in the mud. I'll own it, Coach. I'm in the mud. This was not a competition. South Dakota stepped up, and I was my buddy Wayne. Yeah, Colgate is a good toothpaste. I use Crest. But,
well, they're smiling today.
Yes, exactly. Lots of white teeth and everything. This was not. I picked Drake. I'm in the mud. I'll take it. 42-21 was the final score. LJ Phillips, as you mentioned, Coach, this was a romp by the Yotes over Drake. A different level. Career high rushing, 4 touchdowns for LJ Phillips. Go ahead. You got this one. You got the floor.
Well, you know what? It's not in my nature to brag or pat myself on the back or anything like that. But especially when you pick Citadel over Mercer, and you get the results that you got there.
Yeah,
South Dakota's
Brandon did not pick. I was thinking Brandon picked the Citadel as well, but no, he did not. You're the lone wolf on that one.
Yeah. Listen, South Dakota's going to be there at the end of the year. Once they get it figured out, that they'll be there at the end of the year.
Speaking of Mercer and the Citadel, oops-a-daisy. Here it is. You got Mercer 2-1 on the season now, 2-0 in the Southern Conference. It was a 38-0 win for Mike Jacobs and his Mercer Bears program, and you goose egg a freaking conference opponent. We talked about the Citadel. They're very, very competitive. They're going to bring the tough games, and couldn't find a way to get it done. Good on Mercer. Their defense is fantastic. They're the Bears. That wasn't the issue. They find some offense this weekend.
Yep. Not Mercer did what Mercer should have done. I didn't have faith that Mercer would have done. I've seen them fall in games like it. I'm surprised Citadel didn't score.
Yeah, me too. As a freshman quarterback getting the start for Mercer, Braden Atkinson, he throws 4 touchdowns in his second career start. So they might have found something there that they can build upon, and obviously they need something since Carter Peavy, I think, is the last quarterback you can really look at and go, okay, that kid's something.
Yeah.
So, but they put it together, 38-0, good for them. VMI, Richmond picked up the win. Not really surprised about this one. 2-2 now for Richmond, 1-3 for VMI, 38-14. It was a contest until the halftime, and then the Spiders put a couple points up and ran away with this one. Dayton picks up the 3-point win over Robert Morris. They had to come back, Coach, in the fourth quarter, pick up 10 points there in the fourth and win 17-14. I was expecting a little bit more from Robert Morris, but yeah, those games are really tough to know. Grizz, Montana, they are who they are. 63 points over Indiana State, 63-20, the final score there. Montana, 17-0 over Mercyhurst. Let's stop and dwell on this one for a little bit, Coach. Lakers put up a bit of a fight. Did not allow the Bobcats to score in the second half.
Yeah, when I looked at it the first time, I thought, well, maybe it was a game where they took their foot off the gas a little bit, but it might be one of them games where they never really put their foot on the gas.
Yeah.
I was, I don't know much about Mercyhurst, but obviously to be in that game as close as it was, you would figure that'd be a double, well, I won't say triple digit, but you think it'd be
you would certainly
at least be a 3 or 4 score win, and hats off to the kids from Mercyhurst for fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking, wasn't it Mercyhurst that didn't they play somebody else really tough earlier this year?
You know what? It's hard for me to do when you get my age. I can barely remember what I did before I got to the show. Ain't no way I can tell you whether Mercyhurst played somebody else.
They played Youngstown State really tough, and they played Sac State really tough.
Yeah.
So yeah. So hey,
good
on them.
Might be putting the building blocks down to be a national power.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Edward Waters is the whipping boy for the FCS. Bethune-Cookman puts 35 up on them, 35-9, the final score here. Gardner Webb had a chance to. I thought they were going to. I feel like I jinxed it because as soon as I texted, Gardner Webb's going to pick up an FBS win, wheels fell off. Yeah, 28 points in the second quarter rather for Ohio, 52-35. Although 14 points in the fourth quarter. For Gardner Webb. We love what Chris Reisert's doing there, and I think that's going to be a program to be reckoned with. This is a bit of a shock. I know Hampton's kind of a mess, and they've got some injuries. Howard, 34-7 over Hampton. That's kind of a pretty good rivalry. Not so much if that's your final score. Travis Kearney had 113 yards on the ground, 16 carries, 2 touchdowns for the Bison.
Hey, Howard hadn't beaten Hampton in years, so congratulations to the real HU.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, all right. I know you got some links there. North Carolina Central, 62-20 over North Carolina A&T. Again, this is another matchup that was almost like a rivalry at a time, but North Carolina A&T is just an absolute mess. It's probably because their logo's horrible.
It is, and in addition to some other things, it used to be the other way around. It used to be North Carolina A&T was the dominant.
Their defenses were so tough.
Oh yeah. At one point, they were talking about going FBS or changing conferences, things of that nature. And Central's always been pretty good, but they've always kind of been a little bit behind A&T. That's a shocker for them to go up there and whip the dog mess out of them the way that they did.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. 62-20 was the final score there. And Sacred Heart picks up a win against Michael Vick's Norfolk State. Probably a disappointing effort. But listen, Sacred Heart's 3-1. Give them credit. They actually came out and took the lead in the first. I don't think they took it in the second. I don't think they relinquished it the rest of the game. And although 14 points up there in the fourth to make it a game for Norfolk State, but Sacred Heart. Okay. Picked up a win against Norfolk State. Michael Vick still got some work to do there for the whatever they are, the Spartans or whatever.
Yeah. Listen, he said a couple of days before the opening game he still hadn't found a kicker. So in addition to not finding a kicker, he still looking for a little bit of a defense. He's got some roster.
Gotta look at the white dudes.
You,
Every HBCU's got a good white kicker.
you know what? There's a kicker back in the day. It was the last name was Hood. I was on a recruiting visit with David Hood. That was his name. Anyway, I was on a recruiting visit with him, and they dropped him out of the third floor window at one of the parties. Yeah, dude, he was tough. He hopped up like it was nothing. Kicked for TSU for a couple of years. Yeah.
Good for that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny when we went to Kennesaw State over to Alabama State, and you could always know there's going to be one white dude, punter or kick, whatever. So
and maybe even an offensive lineman.
Baby. Yeah.
Every now and then we'll get an offensive line.
Right. I love it. All right. North Dakota picks up a win over Valpo, 58-7. Not much to talk about there. Idaho had a chance to knock off San Jose State for an FBS win. It was 10 unanswered points there late in that game that gave San Jose State. It was almost like a snap, and all of a sudden they were winning. It was very similar to the Bucks and Jets game today, which I was not very pleased about. We got the win. The Bucks looked great in those throwback unis. Did you see the throwback unis that they had on today?
I did. Now, one thing, I didn't realize that one eye on the swashbuckler is closed.
Yeah, he's a winking pirate.
Yeah, all these years, I never even noticed that. But yeah. I had no idea on the creamsicle that one eye was closed. Yeah, right.
That's him. That's old Bucko Bruce, we call him.
Right.
I would put it on, but that's real difficult to get off. Anyway, so 10 points just like that. And next thing you know, Idaho falls to 2-2, and San Jose picks up their first win there at the FBS level. All right, Incarnate Word and Northern Arizona. This is a game, Coach, we'll highlight and talk about. Very, very tough contest. This was ranked opponents. As we pull up the recap thing here. Oh, that's the wrong one. On the road there at Walkup Stadium, not an easy place to play. 17 versus 19. The Lumberjacks 3-1 now after a 31-23 victory. I'm really impressed with this Northern Arizona squad. Ty Pennington through the air, 286 yards, 3 touchdown passes. He was 17 for 34. Seth Cromwell had 63 ground yards with 16 carries. Myseth Curry and Jason Raines each caught a touchdown pass. Curry's was a 46-yarder as time expired in the first half. E.J. Colson got to start there for the quarterback spot for UIW, 28 of 36, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. He added 59 yards on the ground. Jamison Garcia was a standout receiver for the Cardinals. 9 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Jalen Spears contributed 35 yards on the ground, 20 yards receiving. They didn't really get their ground game going, Coach Jackson. 31-23. NAU is making some noise. This is a good football program. We kind of saw this coming, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, we saw this coming with Chris Ball as the head coach a couple of years ago. That he gets him to the playoffs, so I'm not mistaken. They did not renew his contract. They bring in Brian Wright. He's now got them on the right track. They're playing good football. NAU, big win against UIW. And I got a question, like, where does UIW go from now? I mean, they're going to fall out of the top 25, I imagine, despite it being a ranked loss.
UIW is going to go to the house if they don't get things squared away. You're going to have to play some defense, and you're going to have to run the ball. It's not it's not Madden football at this particular level of college. You're not. They're literally giving teams, and they've got the talent. They're giving teams an easy way of beating them because you really only have to prepare for 75 passes a game. The reason Northern NAU wins is because they're much more balanced than UIW. UIW is going to win some games in the on PlayStation. Well, on PlayStation, but they're not going to win a whole lot of anything that matters if they don't start playing some defense and they don't start running the ball.
Yeah.
Rant over.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, I see a good amount of people watching live on YouTube. If you want to comment, you want to contribute, man, definitely send us a comment. Love to hear from you, like your thoughts on some of these games we are reviewing as we go through the FCS schedule. Charleston Southern loses to William and Mary. They're now 0-4. You can talk about a program that has just gone off the cliff. William and Mary 34-7 over the Buccaneers. 0-4 for them, 2-2 for William and Mary. Not much to talk about. Another 0-4 program, Samford. 50 points there. Kerwin Bells, he lit that fuse, baby. 14 points in the first, 29 points. I don't know how you scored 29 points in a game, but that's in a quarter. But that's what he did, something like that. 29 there's got to be something weird in there. 29 points in the third quarter. Absolute freaking butt kicking. Terrion Dickens had 582 yards passing, coach, and 6 touchdowns. I'm not a big fan of changing coaches mid-season. It's over for Chris Hatcher, right? I mean, it's nothing personal, but Samford can't keep doing this. What?
Yeah. Well, they're not going to get rid of him.
Fired him.
Yeah, they're not going to get rid of him mid-season. I can't imagine that. But
you don't think that program is proud enough to make a mid-season change? I mean, you're. I mean, this is bad, coach. This is bad.
Yeah, I don't think it has much to do with pride as it has to do with how much money I got in my wallet. I don't know that they can pay Chris Hatcher's salary for him to go to the house. If they did that, obviously it's going to be an interim type situation, but they're not going to pay him to sit at home. I wouldn't. Maybe the last game or two, if that's the direction you want to go, but I can't imagine him firing him mid-season. Obviously the seat is hot. Samford is in just absolute complete disarray. You're giving up 50 points. I don't care who you play, and that's not a recipe for And here's the thing. I also feel that it's possible that maybe you've lost the locker room at this time too, and it just points back to once you've been at a program 10, 12 years, and I don't know how long Chris Hatcher's been there, but I know he's been there as long as I can remember, which take that for whatever it's worth.
Wow.
Well, it just may be that time. Listen, he's done some great things while he's at Samford. So
absolutely,
don't want to forget that. But it just might be time to buy a new car.
Chris Hatcher was hired in 2014, so he's going on 11
years.
Yeah. By the way, the quarterback Crettenton for Samford had a big day. He had 485 yards passing. 456 yards passing as well. So, despite the points being put up, like you said, hey, 50 points is great. You allowed 35 points and a lot through the air. Obviously, a lot of those are chunk yards because they got down early. But Western Carolina is they might be in some trouble.
Well, Western Carolina, the little fans is happy this time around. If you look at their little message boards, dude, they jumping all over the place over that win. Again, I don't know really how far that's going to take them, but yippee skippy, I guess. 20 points in the second half.
Yeah, 29 points there in the second half. Yeah, in the second. In the third quarter, they didn't score in the fourth. So.
Yeah, must have took everybody out of the ball game's the only thing I can figure.
I guess. Akron over Duquesne, 51-7. We're going to stop right here as Campbell and Bryant. This was a game I'm not so sure people saw coming. This ended up being a really, really good contest. Bryant and Campbell, take a look here. 50-48 overtime win for Campbell. Let me get my stats up here. It was Camden's six killer. 334 yards
what a great
passing.
Name.
Yeah, seriously. 334 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Randall King, standout receiver with 8 catches, 142 yards, 4 touchdowns, including a 77-yard score. Barry Tate had 90 yards on the ground and a 59-yard touchdown on 15 carries. For Bryant, Dylan Kedzior, Rushed for 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 13 carries, including a 49-yard score. Brendan Meyer contributed 215 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 touchdowns on the ground, did their quarterback Meyer. And Kalijah Williams had an electrifying 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. That kept Bryant in the game, but it was not enough in this one. Campbell over Bryant, and I'm not saying it was it's just a good win. A lot of points scored, 50-48, overtime win, but Campbell's been looking for kind of some stability and momentum, and this kind of win in a conference opponent. They're 1-1 now in the CAA. Bryant drops to 0-1. This could kind of be that. You put some points up, maybe find some defense. You never know.
You know, the surprising thing when I look at that is, one, Campbell's in the CAA, which is a misnomer to me.
Yeah.
The other thing that you look at, well, right, Bryant's in the. I don't know how them two get in the CAA. I'm normally not looking at Bryant when they've got 2 wins, and I believe one of their losses is a very close FBS loss earlier in the season. So kudos to them for.
Matter of fact, I think they picked up a win, an FBS win.
Yeah, they may have. All I'm saying is kudos to them for getting that program out of the doldrums and becoming relevant.
They beat UMass 27-26.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a good win. It's a good win for the Fighting Camels or Camels, whatever they are.
Campbell Fighting Camels, baby. They're in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina.
It's a good win.
It is a good win. Happy for the program, and well, listen, 50-48 is a good football game. The fans probably there in Bowie's Creek were happy to walk away. It was an exciting football game in conference. All right, let's continue rolling through. We had Lincoln, Idaho State put up 90 points. 90 points.
Yay.
90 points. 27 in the first, 42 in the second. 40 quarter.
Yeah.
27. Yeah. Poor Lincoln.
Yeah. Yeah. What is Lincoln? Division III? I
guess. They are Division. You know what?
Yeah, they're not an FCS team.
No, they're not.
You know, you hanging 90 on somebody. I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe it was good for practice. Maybe got some kids in the ball game or anything like that. If Idaho State, if that's their one win and they want to celebrate that, knock yourself out. That's hopefully they'll get a little more better competition next week.
They travel. They're from California. They go all over the country to get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
I mean,
deep pockets and short arms.
I guess.
Yeah.
Lincoln University Lions. I'm on their website now. They are Division II.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So good for them. You know, let me look at their schedule, what they've got coming up here.
Getting that little money, $250,000 at a time.
Oh, man. They got Livingston College. Okay. So this is.
Can't have Livingston. I think Livingston shut their program down.
That's Livingstone College in Salisbury, North Carolina.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the ones from Alabama. Never mind.
Yeah, Livingstone College. They got a cool-looking bear as a logo. Anyway. We got to do our favorite, our top freaking logos of all time and whatever.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
We do.
I got my worst ones already lined up.
No
Youngstown
doubt.
State.
Yeah, and you pointed that out to me, and now I can't see it. I can't not see it.
Yeah.
I looked at Yale's Y and then Youngstown State's Y.
Right.
You ready for this one?
No.
West Georgia picks up a win over Eastern Kentucky. The Colonels went into Carrollton, Georgia, and honestly, West Georgia controlled the game from the very beginning, and although it was close, Davin Widener had another good day, 8 for 14, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. He took care of the football. Jordan Dees was a standout wide receiver with 5 catches, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns. TJ Lester, the workhorse, 108 yards rushing with a touchdown on 18 carries, and I love this name. Festus Davies, 53-yard fumble return for a touchdown. And by the way, listen, EKU, they had their chances in this one. It looks like they're still working out some things, Coach, and I know you're not going to talk too much about it, but good win for Joel Taylor, UAC win, conference win, and they are now 4-0. Congratulations to the Wolves. Not playoff eligible, by the way, but
Yeah, well, it's their Super Bowl season. They're going to prove everybody wrong since they can't make it into the playoffs. I'm going to imagine that Festus, his nickname has got to be Gunsmoke.
Gotta be.
It's got to be Gunsmoke.
Festus.
I figured this would make your what the heck game of the week, because I think if you look statistically, I believe EKU outpassed them. I believe they outran. Well, I don't know if they outran them or not, but I believe they outpassed them. I believe they most of your major statistical categories, I believe EKU won, and the game really wasn't that close.
Well, if I had had time to do our graphics the way Daddy had some Buccaneer football to watch, and that game went late. There was a late field goal win for my Bucks, and Daddy didn't have time to come home and do all the graphics. That's why it looked a little different this weekend. But thanks for pointing that out, Coach. It is.
Well, you do a fine job. you do a fine job. I was not going there.
By the way, we'll continue. We'll go through a couple more games and then wrap this thing up. But it's going to be a bye week for us because I'm going out of town. Brandon's busy, and we just won't have the resources to do the show, the midweek show. I hope to come back on Friday and we can put something together before the weekend. And if not, then it just is what it is. But we will do our best because we just have to do our best. All right. Rhode Island picks up a win 28-7 over Long Island. Another one I kind of said you need to watch out for. Not so much. Here's your ugly Y game, Coach. It was Youngstown State over Towson, picking up the win. Youngstown State, congratulations. They went on the road there to Johnny Unitas Stadium in Towson, Maryland. 31-28 was the final score there. I think the Penguins picked up a very, very quality win. They struck first with Bo Brungard's 1-yard touchdown and didn't look back. A 277-yard passing day for Brungard, 100-yard rushing with 2 touchdowns on the ground, 1 passing. Max Tomczak, I always think of Mike Tomczak, the old Chicago quarterback, but Max Tomczak led receivers, 7 catches with 116 yards, added a crucial 2-point conversion as well. Kylon Wilson also made 6 receptions for 51 yards and had 142 yards in kickoff return yards. So that was obviously very beneficial to Youngstown State. And then their special teams didn't fail. Andrew Latsovka was perfect with 3 field goals, including the 42-yard game winner there for Towson. Andrew Endorf, a true freshman, 18 for 29, 238 yards, and a touchdown. Look for Towson to have some wins, but they did not pick up a win there. I think that's disappointing for them because you're at home against Youngstown State. But 3-1 for the Penguins. Congratulations to them, and Doug Phillips is doing some good stuff there. By the way, most of their points came in the second half, so it was a 14-7 Towson lead that they had to overcome.
Yeah, it's a marker win for Coach Phillips and the Penguins. You go on the road and you beat a good team. I believe if this is last year, they probably find a way to lose that ball game. But it's not last year. It's this year. It's a whole different team that continue to move forward. And they found a way to win that particular ballgame. I think it takes them a long way. I think it's a great win for Youngstown State.
Yeah, I mean they need those kind of wins. They need those kind of wins, and that's a big one. On the road, Towson's a tough place to play. Congratulations there. All right, Lehigh over Bucknell, 41-24. No problems there for Lehigh, a ranked opponent. I mean, Lehigh's ranked, picking up the win over Bucknell. They're now 4-0 in the overall, 2-0 in the Patriot. Bucknell 2-2 and 0-1. Central Connecticut, a bad loss for them. The Merrimack 2-2 on the season. Central Connecticut 2-2, 16-14. They had to put 14 points up in the fourth quarter to even make it a ball game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was Carlton Ty. He kicked a 19-year-old field goal with 1 second left to lift Merrimack over Central Connecticut. Murray State had an FBS game against Jacksonville State, 45-10. They took the loss. They're now 0-4. I got some water sitting tight on my chest. Missouri State, another FBS game against the FCS opponent. UT Martin, coach, falls to 0-4. You got thoughts here? 42-10 was the final score.
0-4 doesn't look good, but 0-4 against that loss against another FBS team, and I think I know that's UT Martin's second FBS game, so you really can't hold
I think
those
it's the
losses.
third, actually, maybe the third.
Yeah, you can't hold those losses against them. Now, what you can hold against them is giving up 35 points before you decide to get up on the or giving up 42 points before you decide to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
That's a little concerning. And again, from an offensive-minded guy like Jason Simpson, and for what he does at UT Martin, I am a little surprised at it being, maybe 1-3 instead of 0-4. But I don't expect them to beat the FBS teams, but I do expect them to play them a little bit better than what they have.
And it's Missouri State. I mean, this is an FCS program from just a couple seasons
from a year ago.
Yeah. You're kind of expecting UT Martin, a perennial playoff team in the FCS, to put a better product out there. You fall down 21-0 in the first quarter, 35-0 at halftime. Not a good look. Not a good look.
Yeah.
And you certainly hope that the Skyhawks haven't lost. Sometimes losing, it doesn't matter what your opponent is. Sometimes losing becomes contagious, and that's the danger there by playing all these FBS teams. Yeah, you're putting money in the coffers, but what are you doing to your team's psyche? Anyway, 45-17, Georgia Southern over Maine. Western Illinois drops a big one to Eastern Washington, 52-31. Listen, the storyline is the Leathernecks putting up 31 points on Eastern Washington.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. That's a big it's a win for Eastern Washington. Northern Colorado over Houston Christian. This is a closer game, I think, than some thought what people would like if you're a Northern Colorado fan. 2-2 for Northern Colorado, and Houston Christian, a much improved team, 1-3 on the season. Stony Brook and Lindenwood. Somebody picked this game, and it was me. It was a 30-27 win for Lindenwood there at St. Charles, Missouri. They are now 2-2 over the 1-3 Stony Brook. What are they called? The
Seawolves, I believe.
Thank you. Yes, the Seawolves.
Yeah, I don't know where Seawolves comes from, but whatever. Yeah, that's their nickname.
They held a 27-3 lead. Lindenwood did at halftime, and Stony Brook came storming back and made it a football game. But Lindenwood was able to hold on. Nate Glantz, the quarterback, finished for Lindenwood. Quarterback, 249 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 104 yards rushing. He also had a rushing score. Rico Bond, a standout receiver with 8 catches, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a crucial 34-yard reception. And then you had a powered run game by Jared Rhodes, 85 yards on 12 carries. And he had a 48-yard run in the fourth quarter that kind of sealed it for Lindenwood. Stony Brook's quarterback, Chris Zealous, passed for 317 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he was under a lot of pressure, Coach. 3 sacks, and that's probably the game changer there for Lindenwood, as they put so much pressure on Stony Brook that they had a hard time getting some things going. But congratulations, Lindenwood. Very happy for that program. Nate Glantz is a name we're kind of seeing more and more and more. Jumped out to a big lead, almost tripped up and gave it up. The Seawolves are a team that you've seen over the last couple of years can put together a tough competition, and Lindenwood holds on. This might be a momentum for them to look at their program more seriously and get a new logo, because it's terrible.
Well, I don't know that it'll get them a new logo, but it does prove that it's hard to win ball games on the road in the FCS.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to our next game we're going to highlight here. It was SIU and SEMO, the war for the wheel. Well, I'm not so sure it was much of war, Coach. 59-31, Southern Illinois goes in with an explosive offense. 59-31 was the final score at Houck Stadium. Almost 10,000 fans got a chance to see the Salukis jump out to a 14-0 lead and amass 612 yards in the process. It was DJ Williams electrifying the crowd, the SIU fans anyway, with 342 yards passing, 4 touchdowns through the air, added 151 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. Coach, I'm going to say DJ Williams is back and healthy and playing well. Vincent Davis, the third explosive receiver, had 8 catches, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 69-yard touchdown reception. Sean Lester Jr. also had 2 touchdowns on the ground, including a 42-yard score. For SEMO, Jax Leatherwood, that big old dude, 422 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. He was 33 of 47 passing. It was not to be SEMO's night as the War of the Wheel, the trophy now goes back to Southern Illinois. They have it. And just your thoughts on this one, Coach Jackson. We kind of talked about this when we both picked Southern Illinois. Brandon picked SEMO, but, I wasn't really thrilled with the pick. I wasn't sure what was going to happen because SEMO had beaten them last time and owned the thing, I think, the last couple of seasons. So There you go.
Yeah. Well, I thought it'd be a tough game. I thought it'd be a little closer than what it is, but what it tells me is that Nick Hill's got Southern Illinois hitting on all cylinders right now. They're going to be a tough out. I had picked them to maybe take a step back, but it looks like maybe they've taken 2 or 3 steps forward. So I look for them to have a successful season. I look for them to make it on into the playoffs, and I look for them to be a dangerous team too.
It's no different than the team we're going to talk about here. You get a starting quarterback as your cornerstone. DJ Williams was that last year. Gets injured, goes down. They try to bring him back, and it didn't really. They ended up having to shelve him for the rest of the year, and that was it. At the FCS level, that under center, that piece of the puzzle, man, is so crucial, and that shows in this matchup as well. Tarleton State 52-24 over Chattanooga, who jumped out to a 14-10 lead after the first quarter. Then Tarleton State, the Texans said, nope, I'm sorry. We'll throw up 20 points there in the second quarter, and it was on their way to a big win, 52-24. Peyton Kramer had 3 touchdown passes. By the way, it was his birthday, so congratulations to having a good game on your birthday. 190 yards receiving for Kramer. It was a big win for the Texans. Daniel Greek, the quarterback, 214 yards and 2 touchdowns for Tarleton State. That meant Victor Gabalis was not playing, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We talked about him leaving. Him leaving early. That's a huge loss. They were able to still find a way to get it done. Trey Page had 110 yards rushing, 48 yards touchdown, 14 carries. Ty Rawls had a 57-yard interception return for a touchdown, and it was a defensive effort as well, holding Chattanooga to just 24 points. And concerns about Victor Gabalis not being there to lead that offense. But good teams, 5-0. The only college football team in Division I that is 5-0 is Tarleton State.
Yeah, I don't really worry too much about. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're much better with Gabalis at calling the shots. But listen, they've been putting this team together for a couple of years. They didn't lose a whole heck of a lot. They got a lot coming back from a good team that they had last year. So if anybody can absorb losing their quarterback for a short period of time, hopefully for that young man, or maybe not any time at all. But if anybody can absorb that at the FCS level, I do believe Tarleton is the team that can do that. They're good across they're huge across the front lines. They've got a good running game. They've got good receivers. If something happens to Gabalis, all you got to do is go in there and hand the ball off a little bit and make some easy throws, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I
think the 3 touchdowns before he went down injured, by the way. So,
yeah.
But it was this backup quarterback came in that kind of pushed them through the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think the number 3 ranking is a little high, but I don't know who else that you would put there. I'll say this, and I don't mean to. Again, I don't coach their team, but at 5-0, I think that they need to lose the game before they head into the playoffs. To make sure they're hitting on all cylinders.
Southern Utah is up next for Tarleton State. Matter of fact, they have a pair of Utah teams, the Southern Utah and Utah Tech, who's been playing people very, very tough. But I'm not so sure either one of those have the freaking engines to knock off Tarleton State. Alabama A&M. We'll go back to the screenshot here so you can kind of see 49-7 over Lane College. Albany finally picks up a win over Cornell. 1-3 now for the Danes. Hey, take a win any way you can get it. East Texas A&M drops a game to Grambling. Grambling now quietly 3-1, coach, at 2-0 at home.
Yeah, man. You know what? Big shout out to my friend and former Western Kentucky Hilltopper Eric Losey, who's now the offensive line coach at Grambling. He actually, I can show you the text. He actually invited me down to a camp in Grambling, and I guess he thought it's right down the street from me, but it's not. And I told him, dude, ain't no damn way I'm coming all the way to Grambling just to see you. But hey, congratulations to that squad. Again, I don't, another good win for them.
Yep, it sure was. Prairie View picks up a win over Northwestern State, 27-24. Davidson over Greensboro College, 48-0. Utah State, a FBS over FCS opponent, McNeese, 48-7 for McNeese, now 1-3 on the season. Texas State, another FBS opponent for an FCS team, 35-3 over Nichols, who's now 1-3. Get those FBS games behind us, those paychecks cashed and done, hopefully for the rest of the season. 35-17, Stephen F. Austin picks up a good win. They put up 14 points in the second quarter, then 21 in the third quarter after falling down early to Cal Poly. 35-17 was the final there. Both those teams are 2-2. ETSU 26-16 rather over Elon. You thought Tony Trisciani, their team, was putting it together last week. And then you drop to a very pissed off ETSU Buccaneers team there at home in Johnson City, Tennessee, coach.
Yeah. Well, you hit it right on the head. Elon just recently combined with Queens College. Maybe they spent a little time on the combination, not a whole lot of time on the game plan. Literally, second quarter is what killed them.
Yeah, sure enough, it sure did. By the way, Cade McNamara, good to see him back under center for ETSU, 268 yards as he got knocked out of last week's game. Austin Peay and Abilene Christian, 45-31. This one, I tell you what, I watched this game, Coach, and Abilene Christian controlled this game. It didn't look like Austin Peay was in this game at all. Stone Earl's 6-touchdown performance pushes Abilene Christian in this one, and what an effort there for Abilene Christian. It was something else. And let me tell you, Austin Peay really struggled in this one to find anything. And I think it's more of what Abilene Christian did than what Austin Peay did, to be frank.
Listen, Abilene Christian, their coach is Keith Patterson. He's a nice guy, but they not nice on the field. I've seen a clip of Stone breaking tackles, running over people. I'm absolutely shocked that Austin Peay gives up 45 points in a ball game with the defense that they have. But it also tells you how strong Abilene Christian is. And I believe if you go back to our one of our earlier shows, I believe we said that we thought that Abilene Christian was going to be one of the sleeper teams in the ACU.
Yeah. I mean,
UAC. I don't know. In the UAC. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, this is a team that won the UAC, right? So, I mean, a sleeper team, but yeah, they lost a lot. They bring in Stone Earl, who was part of their program once, that goes to FBS and comes back. He had 30 completions for 42 attempts, 394 yards, 4 touchdowns. Radrin Baltrip had 6 receptions for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. And this is a great name, Dallas Dudley, 12 receptions, 92 yards and a touchdown. For Austin Peay, Chris Parsons was 24 on 39 attempts, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. They came back there with 21 points in the fourth quarter and made it a ball game, but it really didn't seem like they had much going on. They did have 2 receivers with 7 receptions apiece. Jackson Head and Jaden Robinson both went over 100 yards. Matter of fact, Jackson Head had 132 yards on the ground. Both had touchdowns as well. So Austin Peay, congratulations. To Abilene Christian, rather. Congratulations on a big win over Austin Peay. That was a tough-fought battle. Up next, we're going to look at Central Arkansas, 45 21-16. Sacramento State, the go-go offense coach might be go-going finally. This is a win for Sacramento State, and I can tell you this. Central Arkansas is one of those teams that are really, really tough to play. And I mentioned that this felt like desperation time for Nathan Brown and his Central Arkansas team. And they just couldn't get anything going. 195 yards through the air for Luther Richardson, and Landon Chambers, their running back, had 108 yards on the ground. But it was Damian Henderson II with 137 yards rushing for the Hornets and 15 carries, 85-yard score. Cardell Williams, their quarterback, 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also added 2 scores on the ground as well. The go-go offense kind of went there, Coach, and a big win for Sacramento State. They're putting it together. They're ranked number 24. You can expect them to climb in the polls.
Yeah, I still think I wouldn't, the ranking, wherever they end up, to me, is going to be a little high. I do think they're probably 24, 25, somewhere in there. I don't mind telling you, the trip from Central Arkansas out to California is tough. Across a couple of time zones, then you end up playing at 9 o'clock at night. And Central Arkansas is a shell of what they have been. They've lost a ton over the last couple of years. Get back, get healthy, get ready for the next ball game, and get prepared for the UAC if you're the Central Arkansas Bears.
Utah Tech picked up a win over Northern Iowa. Man, how far is Northern Iowa fall? Remember, UNI was one of these really perennial football teams that they hated to go into that dome and play. Their defense is tough, and Utah Tech, all credit to them, 29 score for them. Reggie Graff was the 213 yards of offense and touchdown to lead Utah Tech, but hey, it's a good win, but UNI is not what they used to be. And then we'll tip of the cap for UT Rio Grande Valley, 61-13. They are 4-0. What a start for that young football program.
Dude, you know what? That ought to be a case study on how to arrive as a football program. They got 12,000 inside, and they got another 10,000 outside. Congratulations and best luck to them. Now, they're going to have to start playing somebody sometime soon. When that happens, I'll be a little more excited. But they look like the real deal as a football team right now.
Jackson Gilkey for Weber State throws for 2 touchdown passes, and it was 193 yards on the ground for Davion Godley for Weber State. They picked up a 38-24 win. And then our final game we'll talk about here is Southern Utah and UC Davis. I really was thinking this was that opportunity for Delane Fitzgerald, very similar to Nate Brown there at Central Arkansas, to maybe shock somebody and pick up a big win. It was not the case. 50-34. A high-scoring game. Jordan Fisher, the running back for UC Davis, had 217 yards on the ground, Coach, 2 touchdowns. Caden Pennick, their quarterback, 13 completions on 21 tips, 162 yards and 2 touchdown passes. Carter Vargas had 6 carries for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the running backs, this was a massive pounding for Southern Utah's defense. I don't know where they go to next. Their quarterback Bronson Barron for the Thunderbirds had 316 yards and 2 touchdowns and interceptions, and Joshua Dye had 155 yards. It's not the offense, Coach Jackson, that needs some retooling there for Southern Utah. It is the defense, but 50 points, credit UC Davis. Tim Plow there, now 2-1. Southern Utah drops to 1-3, but these teams, now you're starting to see patterns, and the pattern for Southern Utah is they can't win football games.
Yeah. That few solid folks, but it ain't enough. I followed the game a little bit. Yeah, Southern Utah played them tough. I know Coach Fitzgerald puts out a tough team. They just don't have enough. They ran out of gas, and Coach and UC Davis kind of pulled away second half, and definitely in the fourth quarter. They just don't have enough. No 2 ways around that.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, UC Davis is finding their way, and obviously they lost a lot of pieces, and you're going to start seeing, I think, them be tested a lot more. But it's nice to get that 50-point win over a really, really, I'd say, quality opponent in Southern Utah, despite their record, because you know how tough Delane Fitzgerald brings, and I think that's going to be beneficial to them as they go into the rest of the Big Sky play. So that's it, Coach. Final thoughts just on the weekend as it stands. And did your wife drink any coffee when she got home?
No. I dumped that. I almost forgot too, but I dumped that. Yeah, I dumped the whole thing. The best part about it is it fell in her coffee cream and not in the collagen, because we had just bought a new thing of collagen, and that I couldn't.
And you
have
just have to
thrown that
mix
away.
it up real good, and then
Right.
I'm just I'm gonna have to come by the house and see what your setup is and see why you've got stuff for your feet and collagen next to the coffee creamer. But
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing elaborate. I can assure you. You know what? Let me tell you. I'm looking forward to conference play.
yeah, me too.
You got a lot of guys that are 1-2, 1-3, 0-this, 0-that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Conference play is just now starting.
Yep,
You know,
that's right.
So I cannot wait for that. I think it's going to be an exciting. Most teams are in their conference schedule starting this week. So
yeah, get those paycheck games out of the way, and then you kind of really start looking forward to week 5 and what the FCS football playoff picture starts to be molded into.
Yep. I can't wait. I'm looking forward. I'll be headed up to Richmond, Kentucky to catch two teams that are in desperate, or I won't say desperate, but both of them need wins, and it's not a conference game for Nichols or Eastern Kentucky, but both teams need a good win. Both teams are well coached. They got, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to stop at Burt's Speak Cheesy on my way.
Burt's. Yeah, you always stop at Burt's. Pizza,
yes, sir.
Right?
Well, that's Donato's.
Oh, Donato's. Okay. Yeah.
No,
Burt's
Speak Cheesy. It's grilled cheese sandwiches.
Grilled cheese sandwiches. Yeah.
Yes, I cannot, dude. I can't wait. It's in Berea, Kentucky. I'm gonna stop on my way. I done told my wife 2 or 3 times we're gonna leave a little early Friday, so we get there in time. And man, I'm looking forward to a good weekend. How about yourself?
Yeah. Send a picture of the grilled cheese. I'm actually going out of town. Sweet Elizabeth and I are going to be down in Florida spending some time because the schools are out this week. So we'll be down there all week and trying to enjoy some of the summer because the winter is coming. Fall is coming. And but yeah, I mean it's football season, and it doesn't get any better than that. We also South Dakota and North Dakota State are a highlight game. Alabama State and FAMU is a game to be looking forward to next week. Western Carolina and Campbell could be a good one. That could be a high-scoring football game. William and Mary and Villanova, just to name a few of those games coming up this weekend that we'll hope to be able to preview this weekend or this week, probably Friday. I mean, we'll see. If I get bored at the beach and we can jump on and do some picks and stuff, then we'll do that as well. I'll have my computer with me. But all right, Coach, thank you so much for hanging in there. I really do appreciate it. Brandon obviously dealing with family stuff, so he was not available, but he is still part of the show, very much so. We love him and we want him to come on and any opportunity he gets. And if you guys want to come on and want to be a part of this show, let me know. Shoot me a DM, McCurry Radio. We got Coach's DM there. Twitter handle there as well. You can just let us know. We'd love to talk to different fan bases from around the country. You guys have been great. We've got lots of views on YouTube. I see lots of people viewing us live, and then most people watch it. So it is important to like and subscribe to our show. We've got about 81 subscribers right now. If we can get to that 100 mark here in the next couple weeks, and we can really start driving the stake home and maybe put something together for some whatever I'm talking about, some more stuff for the fans and stuff. So
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. It does a lot for us. Thank you so much, Coach. For Coach Jackson, I'm Nathan McCurry. This has been the FCS Checkdown. Have a great week, everybody.